Web 3.0 Enterprise Solutions. Why and how big players are coming in.
I'd love to know who you guys are and what you do in your day-to-day. We might start on this end and go along the panel.
Hi, everyone. My name is Arvin Khamseh. I have a NFT marketing agency and an incubator. Worked with a lot of brands from startups all the way to giant entertainment companies. And then background-wise, just so you understand where I'm coming from when I'm speaking, is working with public companies, doing their paid media up to $500K a month.
Hey everybody, my name is Michaela. Online I go by Mika. I'm full-time Web3 consulting and strategy, art. Day to day, I spend my time on Twitter Spaces with the NFT community. Shout out to them. And yeah, really spending time to see what solutions are being created in the Web3 space.
All right. Hey everyone, my name is Alex. I'm full-time building TruePlay. At TruePlay, we tokenize any kind of casino, building the tokenized loyalty program for casinos and mobile application, bringing them to very basic mechanic like play to earn and a hold to earn. Doing Web3 for the last, let's say, 3-5 years. Mined my first Bitcoin back to 2013.
All right, we have some real OGs here. And to wrap that up, I'm Bailey. I'm the head of partnerships and one of the co-founders at Copiosa. We've built a new non-custodial wallet, which is just designed to make crypto safer and easier to use for those new retail users who are coming in. So brilliant. I think to kick off, it's important for us to kind of understand what an enterprise solution looks like. So I was wondering if you guys had an example of a Web3 enterprise solution that you've seen recently, maybe that excites you or something you're interested in.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll start off by a company that I'm very excited about is OD Labs, which is focusing on augmented reality ownership as well as gamification of IP, which includes use to earn, where to earn, and other things like that. And I think, again, gamification of IP is something that's going to be very popular in the Web3 space.
Agree. I mean, whatever to earn is the next big movement, right? And when it comes to big enterprises, I would say I don't see any major players in terms of DeFi and in terms of Web3 because we all have to remember that crypto adoption is not that high as we're supposed to think, right? An average user, tend to pay with a card, still tend to pay with a card, whether Euro, USD, whatever, from their 𝐉𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬 account. And for some of them, the crypto adoption it's kind of tough, right? If you thought yesterday, all right, I'm going to go to crypto and see there is a USDC 0.999, you say, all right, maybe it's not that enough, right, for me to enter the crypto, right? So in terms of Web3 enterprises, I would consider big players such as Google, Netflix, and Apple. That would be the next big 3 players because of not having the single seamless integration where the seamless infrastructure wouldn't be the case for the whole crypto adoption, right? As well as the crypto processing, as well as the card processing. Let's say it's 2005, you're not able to pay with a card because there are no cards, there are no machines that accept that card. There are not many people who are aware of cards. This is happening to crypto. So in terms of that, I would focus on Web3 big players and the current challenges. There are a couple of them that I can oversee right now. The first one is the crypto adoption itself, and the second one is the legal part of that. Let's say you're a Netflix, or you're a Google, or you're an Apple, and you want to launch the tokens, right? The first question you are asking yourself, why don't I have to do that? Because let's say just 5 or 10% of my audience are into crypto. This is a question number 1. The question number 2 is, what does Fed say? What does the government say? They say, right, crypto is prohibited. In order to accept crypto, you have to have this part of legislation, a lot of approvals from everybody. And this is where things are getting too hard and too tough to handle.
Brilliant. I think I might jump in.
I just want to also speak to that. So certainly, 5% of the population is, they are into crypto. So it's a bit of an echo chamber, not a lot of people speaking to that. And then when it comes to even, let's say DeFi, NFTs, that's even a smaller proportion of that. And so obviously there's a shortage of big players. But if you're talking about like giant companies, like honestly, like I was speaking about this in a previous panel as well. Like I like, Reddit, for example, and how they came in. They've actually, I think they're the biggest contributor to NFTs, Web3, possibly even crypto. Because a lot of people, they come in and learn about maybe the digital collectibles, then they learn about crypto. And so they probably brought more people, with 3 million active wallets, they probably brought more people than anyone else.
Brilliant. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. And you see Amazon as well announcing their kind of integration of NFTs into their platform. We're looking at next year for that. But yeah, so there's definitely some big players that we can see. They're coming in, they're getting ready, and they're getting excited. What do you guys think are the key solutions that Web3 can offer those enterprise-grade companies, the giant companies? How do you think Web3 can help them?
I want to make a quick comment on the Reddit, the big company. So Reddit did something fascinating, which was onboarded 50+ million users into the Web3 space by calling it digital collectibles and having people interact with NFTs without them even realizing. And I mentioned earlier about augmented reality ownership, and all of these things seem kind of like far, that we don't, it seems far in the future. However, we interact with those things actually daily. Like if you use Instagram filters, you are using augmented reality. Like if so I think like the solution for big companies to come in is actually to copy the Reddit meta, which is making people interact with NFT technology and actually not having them, know that it is. Just like how we interact with our iPhones and we don't really know everything about iOS. I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, so, I mean, when we talk about the crypto, I'm always trying to be down-to-earth person, right? Trying not to build another metaverse for everything, right? Where everybody can interact and do all you think, and that will be all in one place and with a one token. That doesn't work. I mean, all those shitty NFTs and metaverse are fucked up. I mean, obviously, right? They are. This is not a new reality. This is the reality that we're seeing right now. So for any kind of Web3 solution, what I am seeing right now, where it is Netflix, Amazon stuff, where they're heading to is they are still interacting with their users, right? They are trying to make them more loyal because at the end of the day, you still have to be profitable as a company, right? Where they could have for them is loyalty programs, right? You buy the subscription, you get the tokens for that subscription. You make any purchases and you get this token. For that tokens, right, you can make any kind of purchases, payments, send it to another user. And this is when I think the next big thing would be for any kind of Web3 company. So just trying to build to rent out the infrastructure which lets you, through the admin panel within a few clicks, set up your loyalty program, right? And you are set up and you are done with that. So users are happy. They don't need to think whether I have to top up my MetaMask balance to buy that where USDT, Ethereum, or stuff. So seamless integration which will head companies from Web2 to Web3. That would be the next thing that company don't actually see that right now.
So I would say it's interesting, right? So the arguments against, for example, now I speak a lot about NFTs, not Web3 in general, but the argument is like, okay, so if you want to create, let's say for Netflix or entertainment companies, you want to create experiences for people by just maybe scanning something when they see it on an episode. So you could do that with the AR, right? You don't need NFTs for that. But then when it comes to NFTs specifically, then the difference, I guess the distinction is the real use cases of NFTs. So let's say storing information, let's say the authenticity. So I believe Ticketmaster, if I'm not mistaken, they're getting into that. So to use it for, let's say, preventing counterfeit tickets. So like those kind of stuff where you don't even need to talk about NFTs, but then you're using them, and then people actually see the value. And then you don't have any other solutions for them neither. Like also fashion, for example. When it comes to authenticity, I don't think it's being used yet, but a lot of players are actually trying it out. So I would say those are, so authenticity, and then also storing, storing informations, and then those two, I would say, the biggest use cases that enterprises could use it.
Brilliant, yeah. So we walked through authenticity, we walked through things like loyalty programs. I think there's some really fascinating stuff going on with blockchain and supply chain mapping, which again comes down to that authenticity, keeping track of things in a trustless fashion, makes things that the kind of the DeFi technology behind that really fascinating and interesting. And I wonder just specifically, do you guys see a particular role that DeFi can take in Web3 enterprise solutions? And if so, what do you think that could look like?
DeFi, yeah.
Decentralized finance, yeah.
I would say that DeFi, it's like an investment, right? How many people here are into investments like ETF and stuff? I mean, not the biggest percentage, like let's say 5 to 10%, who really understands the stuff they're doing, they're investing in. That would be in a DeFi. So DeFi itself, I would say, is already well established. So we don't need to care and think about the DeFi. All the investors and hamsters are into DeFi, have been into DeFi for the last year or two, right? So what we should care about as an industry is how to bring that to the rest of the 99.9 population who are even not into crypto. That is the problem. So the DeFi itself may stand out as another institutional for tech-savvy investors. This is I see this is a role for a DeFi and would take another 2 or 3% of the newcomers.
Well, okay, so it's very interesting timing for this. Obviously, with the SVB and everything is going on with a lot of banks, just all being in the red zone. So the people are starting to see alternatives, right? So they want to look for something else that's working, that's not decentralized finance. But then also decentralized finance is, in a lot of aspects, is not working. So just right before that was the FTX we just observed, right? So the path is probably it's going to come in a sense that more people are going to look for something that's actually going to be timely for now. So, and not necessarily the crypto that we used to, and then not necessarily the decentralized version that we've already tried. So something that's more for the community, for the people, like in that direction.
I think it's really interesting on that front in that I go back to what you were all talking about with Reddit earlier and how they were de-NFTing NFTs, making them digital collectibles. I do wonder if the solution that DeFi is going to offer is trustless transactions hidden behind something that doesn't say DeFi on the front. You see people like JP Morgan experimenting with large transaction on the blockchain. We saw 𝐶𝐨𝐧 having a bit of a humble brag about the fact that he could move $1 billion in 8 minutes. That sort of thing that came earlier in the week. So DeFi as a product looks like it offers a lot of things, but I do wonder if we're going to be seeing it sitting underneath those other things and a nice front end maybe that makes it look like something different. We are getting close to time, so I want to land with something that's maybe a bit more fun in that enterprise is massive and it can feel a bit overwhelming for smaller companies sometimes. So I wonder if you guys had final thoughts on how can smaller companies and startups compete with big players in the Web3 space? What advantage do those small companies have that enterprises perhaps don't?
So, may I? So actually small companies in the Web3 space have a huge advantage, in my opinion, coming into the Web3 space because big companies take a lot of time to approve certain solutions or approve like marketing solutions, stuff like that. And with a smaller company, they don't need to, have things approved by so many people, and this space grows so quickly, like it moves so fast. So by the time a big company, approves one thing, it's like, that we've already moved forward in regards to Web3 and the trends. So I think small companies have a big advantage because big companies are too slow in regards to adapting Web3 technology.
Yeah, I can speak to that. So I actually was on a panel a few weeks ago with Dior, and then I was asking them, I said, why don't you guys get into Web3? They just recently got into AR, right? And it's just like such a long time, right? So just speaking to that. So the advantage for a small business is that they don't have anything to lose, versus these big corporations, their brand is in danger, their revenue not so much, because if they don't make money from the collection that just came out, they don't really care.
Like Porsche, for
Exactly. They don't care. Like they're okay. They're gonna be continuously producing everything they were producing, and it's actually funny with Porsche. They didn't like. I was looking through their Twitter. They barely even were talking about their own collection on their actual handle, which is it's just because they're just tiptoeing around it, right? They're not sure. They're like, what if we do this and then people don't like us? What if what if we fail? There's a lot on the stake versus small players. You coming in, you're probably just going to be loved by a lot of the community because you just got in and everyone's just already just wanting to appreciate you coming in. So I think, so the efficiency, but also just the, I say safety of the brand, like those are the
They're not afraid to experiment, and that's what you need in the Web3 space. You need to be able to experiment.
Yeah, well, I would say for small businesses, that's a very good option to increase their revenue and to boost their revenue and to keep their users even more loyal than they used to be. There is a very good example when I think about crypto and loyalty. I always think about the coffee shop, right? There is a one near the corner. I every day go there, spend $3, 20 days per month. It's a $60 of LTV. And let's say at some point of time they start sharing the tokens with me for buying every cup. So right, I can spend these tokens. I can send those tokens to my friend so he or she can buy this cup of coffee. And at some point of time they launch the token of the coffee shop, and I can start investing in the local shop that I trust in. I know this local coffee shop owner. So this is not another Shiba Inu shitty coin, right? This is an owner. There is an ongoing business. I know that business. I spent $60 per month for that business. Why don't I invest into that business so the owner can set up the new owner shop in another corner? And I know this is a profitable ongoing business. Rather investing into those Shibas and any Doji or 𝐿𝐿𝐷 coins, right? This is a huge potential for a small business. Not even to invest in the customer loyalty, but attract more customers that are willing to invest into this small business. And this is probably what I would have expected, and I would expect to see in the next couple of years.
Brilliant.
If I may.
We are running well over time, and I'm getting the look, so I might cut us off there. I'm sorry,
Cool.
Arvin.
That's fine.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom on these topics, guys. It's been Alex, Michaela, Arvin, and I'm Bailey. Thank you so much for listening, everyone, and I hope you have a great rest of your conference.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me here.